Yo guys, what's going on? Explosive Chris here, and I have
HQ Kensama.
yes
What's going
sir.
on, guys? You may know me as the previous purple Gios fanatic.
Woo.
Unfortunately, Kenshin came into the meta and beat me off my favorite deck. So,
Of
you know what they
course.
say, when you can't beat them, join them.
All right.
So today we had the Union Arena Regional here in Virginia. I came in 12th, and here's my list. Pretty standard to start. We've got 4 finals, 4 specials. Wouldn't think about changing that in any way, shape, or form. You need the Oath. You need the specials. Obviously, one of the most powerful triggers in the game. We're on 1 Hiiten Mitsurugi for that extra value when you have the option to pitch it from either this Kenshin or this Kenshin. I only play it at 1 because it's a no trigger, and also I don't like to play too many event cards. I like to make sure that I have enough bodies to constantly apply pressure to the board. I was thinking about running 2 of these when Spear was more prevalent, but without that in the meta, I didn't even use it to rest Array today. It was literally just an extra card that one time when I really needed it, and I wouldn't play less than 1, but I don't know if I'd play more than 1 currently. Also standard here, you're going to have 4 of your pushback, Impact Kenshin, the most powerful trigger in the game right now. Enough to be said about that guy. You want 4 of your color triggers, especially in this meta when you don't want to take early pokes. You're playing in the mirror. The red color trigger is more live than I think it's ever been in any meta. So would not play less than 4 of these. Again, 3 costs that you can put to the front to make your Kaoru generate energy. Activates Hiiten Mitsurugi when you want to draw a card. For our next we do play one of the Megumi Takani. She allows you to pick up a 0-drop or 1-drop unit from the sideline, or to buff a unit plus 15. Her win plate ability, I almost exclusively look for the 1-drop Kenshin if I can find him in the sideline. Otherwise, just being able to grab a card back to pitch for this, to pitch for this, to pitch for this. Really powerful, but more so than in any other time frame, we used her for the plus 15, and I'll get into that in some of how that worked. I'm only playing 3 of the 3-drop Kaoru. I really feel like you only need to see 1 of these. Because her ability is only once per turn, I would rather see this 2-drop Kaoru. So we are at 8 total double energy pips in the deck. Some people think that's high, some people think that's low. I come from a purple Gios deck where, 8 plus the 4 0-drops is enough for a deck that needs 5 energy. This one only needs 4. But again, if you can establish 2 double pips in the mirror match, it's a really powerful thing. So I don't know if I would change those ratios. For me, it works really well, so I'm sticking with that. There's no question on the 2-drop Kaoru. Probably the most powerful double energy producer in the game. Most of the 2-drop double energy pips do not have a trigger. She has a draw trigger, which is amazing in this deck. And she also generates energy the turn she's played if you have a Kenshin on the front line. So that makes her extremely powerful to allow you to have some of those explosive turns. I also run 2 of the 2-drop Kenshin. I know more people have been cutting this lately, so I'll get into that briefly. In the mirror match and against decks that want to chip you early, particularly one I think of is Milwoo, where they want to be able to chip you early and then force block your guys off the board. I like playing this in the front early to activate the Kaoru, to keep any early chip damage from coming through. So I do play 2 of those, and that allows me to see that bridge from 2 to 3 a lot more consistently, and sometimes it even has to be my bridge from 3 to 4 if I don't see the Kaorus. 4 of the Searcher Kenshins, no question. That card's phenomenal. Everyone should run 4 of it. I am running 4 of the no trigger 0-drop 3K Kenshins. I like to maximize targets with the number of raids I have. So like using a Kenshin to be able to attack early is important. Having 3K gets you over every other 0-drop in the game right now. So I think his power is just in his power level. The fact he's a no trigger, I wouldn't reduce the card at all. For the step Kenshins, he's a 2K 0-drop, which I already like in a lot of decks, but he also has step, which is one of my favorite abilities on early cards, and a get trigger. So you're playing maximum of those as possible. My least favorite 0-drop in the deck, the Kalru. I'm running this because I don't like to mulligan, and I want to have as many 0-drops as I can without hurting the top end of the deck. So because I don't like to mulligan, I've included 2 of her, but really she's in here because of the draw trigger. In Kenshin, intentionally, you want to take as much life early and use your life as a second hand, another way to increase your resources. So I like to take damage early as much as possible, and having more draw triggers allows me to have better lines into the later turns. 3 of the Yahiko. I do the 3-2 split because while active triggers are good, I'm not using my life defensively like I want an active trigger very often. It saved me, especially when you're dealing with other impact cards, but it's more of the fact that it's a 0-drop 2K power that can kill my opponent's characters. A lot of people like to play forward against Kenshin, hoping they'll get pushed back. And when I swap my Yahiko and my step Kenshin, now I'm killing your body and you're not getting pushed back, so now you don't want to block, and I'm getting that chip damage in. So that's the reason for the list. I am playing more 0s, 1s, and 2s than most people do, and that's because, again, I think this game rewards having bodies on board, and when I'm able to push up early, I'm able to refill more often with these cards to make these cards more live. So that's a little bit about my list, and we had some tough matchups today. We wanted to dodge Milwoo as much as possible because it's really not favored for us. And I think Kenshin's a pretty unfair deck, the fact that it didn't get touched in the recent ban list. I'm starting to understand it more because it's a very beatable deck. But I think that we're going to see more decks on this power level, so they didn't want to hit this because they want people to be able to beat decks like this with what's coming out and what's currently out, and by getting spicy and brewing different things. I did think it was the best pick going into this meta because depending on what you saw, Kenshin gives you a ridiculously good matchup into everything. This being the most powerful trigger in the game right now, in my opinion, also makes this deck just slightly favored in more matchups than it's not. Again, the most powerful 2-drop double energy producer in the game. So we dodged Milwoo all day. We lost round 1 to a red Eva player with a really unique list, and we didn't let it get us down. We decided we're going X1 and we're winning out the rest of the tournament, and we played against 1 red Kenshin, 1 yellow Eva, 1 Saito, which the yellow Eva and the purple Saito were the hardest matches I had all day. They were incredibly difficult to win. We did play against the Spear, which he didn't draw too well, so we did well in that matchup. I think that getting hurt definitely made a difference. You could tell there was no Asuka. The one Asuka was in life, actually, so I hit it as an active trigger after I pushed his whole board back, and he's like, well, there's my only Asuka, and I'm like, man, that feels bad. So before Kenshin, we were playing Spear. I don't think that Spear was the right call today based on the adjustments that Bandai implemented. So we're happy we went with Kenshin. We did play against 2 red Chihiro players. They didn't really see the nuts, and we didn't really see the nuts, but we had decent triggers, and we were able to get multiple attacks in early. But most of our games today, actually, we didn't see a lot of our raids, and we had to just win with these cards because we weren't seeing anything else. And we managed to squeak it by because we actually drew this at only a 2 of. We remarkably got a lot. The get trigger is really valuable. So, like, I would say MVP today was actually the kill Kenshin. It made for a really good day. Oh, we also ran into my favorite deck currently, which if something did happen to this deck, I'd be playing. We ran into Shadow Army. And it's just a curse matchup for that deck. And I played so much Shadow Army leading up to this event thinking this was going to get banned that we know exactly how to beat that deck. So we win that match easily. It's so favored in Kenshin's Kenshin's game there. But did you have any questions, Chris?
You pretty much answered every question. You said one of your hardest matchups was yellow. Can you talk more about it?
Yeah, so she actually drew great player, by the way. She drew 4 of the 0-drop rays that went her sideline draw a card. And we opened double Yahiko Kaoru because we didn't see any of our 0-drop Kenshins, which, I mean, it happens, you know. We did have the way to get up, so we knew we'd be playing the game eventually, but we were like, oh, well, we get to kill things early, but she played rays. So it was like, oh, I don't want to swing. Our only double energy producer was the Kaoru, and our opponent made sure to have something die almost every turn, so we got almost no draws off of the Kaoru, which made it really tough. We also saw this guy, so we knew we were killing because we were just having to eat the Oath to draw cards because we were so far behind the ray blocks. And 2 of my finals were in life. They were until the very last turn, they were the only finals I saw. So I had to eat those to try and get deeper. But she saw 2 restands, and she established a Masato before we got to the 3-drop Masato that lets her play out of life, before we got to even deal 1 damage to her. So we knew we were playing behind in that matchup, and it was a struggle from the get-go. We only saw 1 raid, which got immediately Asaka'd. So, like, I did not think I was winning that matchup. But I never saw this card. So when I was like, I'm not seeing the impact pushback. I'm not seeing the impact pushback. We're dealing with... I had to move up this Kaoru and a Yahiko, and then use the Megumi to plus 15 the Kaoru to get it up to a 4K to even be able to get any chip damage in. It was like that kind of struggle of a game. But because we saw no specials and no pushback engines, with 4 life, we knew something's in there. And I got lucky enough that she swung with the Asuka with the Mari ready to untap and hit the special and killed the Mari before she got to attack. So it was like, okay, I know that's there. It happened a second time where she set up the same exact play, and the 3rd life was a special. And so after that, I drew 1 of these, played it, drew 1 of these, made it active. We had gotten the 3rd final at that point, so we played the final and ate it with this guy, so we're killing, and we just managed to have 5 attacks when she couldn't deal with them. The last 2 life did end up being the pushback engine. So I never saw them, but I knew if she swung again, it was going to be something. And we were constantly setting up with targets so that we had the outs when she swung. So I made sure just stay on 4 energy, don't go below it, but try and get any attacks in you can. And I had to make choices a lot because of the fact that I had this and I had these, and I even had 1 of these on the front. You know, I'm swinging and I know I'm taking bodies, and she kept looping the 0-drop rays and they kept coming forward. So like the 0-drop rays were constantly in my face, and I know that if I swing into it, she's losing a card off the board, but now she's also drawing a card, and I'm not going to get to draw off of my Kaoru. But I had to make the decision, and almost every time I think I ended up still swinging the body and making her choose, and she kept losing the body, which was the reason I was swinging. I wanted to get that AP off the board because everybody's essentially an AP. But I was cutting myself off from digging deeper into my deck, which was also hurting me. So it was a really tough decision, but in the end, we ended up pulling it out because of the double attack to get the extra attack and the 2 specials in life, which obviously we know how bad that feels when you're trying to close out a game and your opponent has specials in life. But when you don't see either of those cards, they're going to be somewhere. So, no, I would say we got lucky on that one, but we did play our heart out. It was a grindy match. Both players played really well. So, I think Yellow Eva and Red Kenshin is one of the fairest matchups, which most of the time Kenshin has an unfair matchup because I think it comes down to whose life is better. And she didn't hit the Asuka out of life, which really helped us not lose steam on the turns we needed to push. But yeah, other than that, it did Kenshin things.
Any shout-outs?
Shout-outs to HQ, my boys. We had a great week in Virginia. I topped the Gundam Regional yesterday, so I have an
Mm-hmm.
invite for that. And we rode that high today to do well with Kenshin. Didn't draw specifically well, but we grounded out. And I'm so looking forward to this deck dying. But right now, I think we're still looking at the best deck in format. Although today, shout out to my boy Nick back home, who took first in the Gundam Regional. I had been helping him brew his Milwoo deck for a while. He had some spicy tech in there, and it clearly worked out for him. He came in first. So that's another local here from Connecticut who I've helped coach on that deck in specific. And then Aponte, another of our locals and a Team HQ member as well now, came in top 32 at his first regional. Also, just losing out in the final of the day one side event. We also got Bobby, who came out with us and took first in yesterday's side event and also did incredibly well with Red Chihiro. Probably one of the best Red Chihiro players I've seen. I didn't struggle against the two Red Chihiro players I played today at all. And honestly, the fact Bobby did so well with that deck, I think it's another deck to look out for. So, well, I think Aponte, who was on Kenshin, did incredibly well, and I did incredibly well with Kenshin. I think this meta is actually healthier than most people think. And if you want to learn more about the meta decks, the meta choices, check out Team HQ. We're on YouTube. You can join our Discord channel. We're going to be hosting events, putting out content, letting you know what to play and how to play it. So, looking forward to seeing you guys.
All right, Ken. Thank you so much, man. All right, everyone. Take it easy.